Yes, we did promise you some of the biggest names in South Australian sport. None bigger than our next guest, Poppy.
Yeah, he's a huge one.
Well,
huge.
No, don't try and jump in here because
What am I doing here?
Yeah, Cage, always don't want to embarrass us. So
I can't think of a bigger name in South Australia.
49 years in TV. Next year will be 40 years on radio, if you don't mind.
Wow.
Played Sheffield cricket for Australia, played cricket for Australia, umpired this. He is
done everything.
The doyen of sport. He's in the Hall of Fame, of course, so we're only having Hall of Famers on today. That's why we got you in, Cage. Mate, it's great to see you.
Thank you, Smiley. It's great to be here.
All right, let's clear up a couple of things, mate. Dead Set Legends, of course, Triple M.
Yep.
#1 sports rating show on Saturday on the radio.
Yeah, it's been good.
You yourself a legend. There's two bozos in you with you that claim, Dom Cassisi and one Andrew Jarman, that think they are the legends of Dead Set Legends.
Well, that sort of situation keeps raising its head every Saturday morning because there's a big debate between Dom Cassisi, Andrew Jarman and myself. Actually, who is the legend? So I said, look, I'm not a legend, so you two fight it out. Jars wins every week.
Yeah, Jars.
So Jars is the legend. He just takes control. His show, even though it's called Dead Set Legends, it's the Andrew Jarman Sports Show, really.
Well, I'm thinking the only thing he'd be a legend of is he can get to the fridge quickest, who can eat the most cream buns.
No.
I'm going to give him a
He's
call and
pretty
have a
quick,
chat with him this week. I'll tell you what, Cage, a couple of things I want to ask you. Muhammad Ali just recently passed away, and he was one of your interviews.
Yep.
You've done hundreds, thousands over this journey.
Yep.
Were you nervous speaking to the great man?
Well, that was an unbelievable story, Phil, because I remember working at 5DM. It was way back in 1983. I'd been there 5 or 6 years, and I said to my producer, Menno Tutsidis, who's with Channel 7, I said, Menno, I'd love to do an interview with Muhammad Ali, fully realising that it would never happen. Anyway, he chased him all the way through of 1983, all over America, to no avail. And then it was July of 1984, and I can remember this day vividly. Menno said to me, KG, I reckon I can get Muhammad Ali this week. I said, Menno, it's KG, mate. You know, we've been chasing him for 12, 18 months. He said, no, I reckon I can get him this week. I said, okay. So he said to me, can you come into the studio tomorrow early, and just in case, you know, when I make the phone call. Wow. So he's made the phone call to America, spoken to a lady who turned out to be his minder, and she said, no, look, Muhammad Ali's on his walk. We can't disturb him. Can you ring back tomorrow at the same time? So he said, ring back tomorrow at the same time. We did that. I'm in the studio again. Rings up, and Muhammad Ali, on this particular occasion, is having his rest. So couldn't disturb him again. So she said, could you ring back the next day?
Bit slow on the uptake, you bloke.
Exactly right. So the message was, we ain't going to get him. I said to Menno, this is a wild goose chase. We're not going to get him. So day 3 comes. Come back into the studio at the same time at 5 p.m. I'm sitting here alongside Menno, who's made the call. And I heard the lady say, just a moment. And Menno's turned to me and said, KG, I think we're going to be put through to Muhammad Ali. Wow. Quick, get into the studio. So I knocked the chair over, jumped into the studio, and I'm sitting here, and suddenly he said, the phone's ringing. And through my earpiece. Yeah. And I'm sitting there waiting, and then suddenly he said, he's on the phone. I didn't know what to bloody say. First time in my life I couldn't open my mouth. I couldn't speak. And I have no idea what the first question was. And you know how you speak to someone so great as that, and who am I? I'm Ken Cunningham, the pleb from South Australia. When you're doing an interview with someone so great as that, you naturally think, well, there'll be one-line answers, get up quick or whatever. He was just so giving. Wow. And it went for 25 minutes. Was on
How good's that?
The first stage of his illness with Alzheimer's. You could tell it in his voice, but the interview went for 25 minutes. In fact, we played a part of the interview last week on Poppy. You were there on Triple M, and amazing. And I'll never forget the part that he said in the interview was they asked him about his medal in 1960, and he said, yeah, that's in the river in Ohio. He said, I walked into this McDonald's restaurant to get some food with a friend, and he said, I was told by the people this is a whites only restaurant. And he walked out and threw it into the river in the Ohio River. Amazing.
It's a true story too.
A true story.
Cage, you're really humble, man, and I've worked with you a long time, mate. I've known you a long time, and I call you a good friend. A couple of things. 2012, you get a letter that arrives at your place. Sandra has it from the SANFL.
Yeah.
What did you think the letter was?
Well, I really had no idea, Phil. Really, I had no idea.
Yeah, you thought you were in strife, didn't you?
Well, I thought I'd said something wrong again.
I've never heard a bloke that he's such a pessimist in all my life. For every day since he started 49 years ago, he's been saying, this career can't last. It can't last. Don't you? Every day. Oh, the ratings.
Well,
it can't go on.
Really, if we're brutally honest, it's the 8th wonder of the world that an idiot, stumbling, stammering idiot like me can be on Adelaide Metropolitan Radio for 40 years. So, what does it say about Adelaide Radio?
Well, I was nervous for a minute. I thought you were going to say the fact that you're still going on. You've had a couple of cracks, and we'll come to that about not being here. But come back to the letter.
Yeah, back to the
Get a letter from the SANFL.
I thought I was in trouble over something.
Yep.
I'm always in trouble over saying something.
What was the letter, Coach?
That's a good question. If you remind me, quick.
Letter to be inducted into the SANFL Hall of Fame.
Yeah, the Hall of Fame. That was a huge moment. No question, because growing up as a kid, I was a mad West Adelaide supporter.
Yep.
And all that sort of business, and love the SANFL, still do today. So to be inducted in that was magnificent. But there's one that's better, that's very, very close to my heart, and that is that having been lucky enough to have played cricket and umpire footy at the Adelaide Oval, that oval was like a second home to me. I absolutely adore the place. And when I was lucky enough, and without, I don't mean this to be big name, but when I was lucky enough to be inducted into the Adelaide Hall of Fame earlier this year, that is the...
Let me tell you a quick story about this. So KG gets his invitation, because there was some question mark over whether or not, given that you had some comments leading up to the moment, whether it might go ahead.
Because there was a group of people that were... No, let's be honest, it was the Saka that weren't for me getting in. They wanted it to be suspended for a while because I'd been outspoken about Darren Berry, the coach. Yeah,
and so this is part of the Dead Set Legends program. So he gets his invitation, and you know, he didn't tear up, but he was getting close.
No, I teared up, be honest, I teared up.
I wasn't sure whether I should say, but he teared up. He had this invitation, and it meant so much to him, and you know, it was only a couple of weeks away. He walked out of the Triple M studios and down the street, and we said, see you later. 20 minutes later, I walk past, and I'm walking down the street, and I see this invitation on the ground. It's to KG Cunningham, partner. I think, what's happened? So I ring him up. This is his dream. I ring him up. He's lost the invitation. I just happened to be walking down the street and pick it up.
I dropped it in Franklin Street on the footpath. Oh God! No, but that was the pinnacle.
Yeah, it was.
Well,
good on you.
Adelaide Oval obviously is really close to you. 63-64. You win a Sheffield Shield there with South Australia.
Yep.
Can you take us and the viewers just back to that moment when you won the Shield, what it felt like?
Well, it was fantastic. In fact, that era was fantastic, Phil, because we had a player playing for us called Sir Garfield Sobers, who was 5 cricketers in one. And Neil Danzy, and to this day, still says that 63-64 side with Ian McLaughlin, Sir Garfield Sobers, Les Favell, Ian Chappell, Neil Hawke, Barry Jarman, John Lill, I could go on and on and on, is the best South Australian side ever. In 63-64 was special because we'd come from nowhere to beat Victoria in the final, and I can remember Bill Laurie saying before the final, this man Sobers, we can handle him. Whatever he dishes up, we can handle. Sobers took 6 for only 90 and made 150. You can handle him, all right.
You mentioned one of the great names in world sport. Oh, yeah. One of the great names in Australian sport, and to a degree the world, Don Bradman. You could interview Muhammad Ali. I'm not sure that you can get to Don Bradman. You got close a few times.
Yeah, I did. In fact, I wrote to him when Gary Sweet played Sir Donald Bradman in the story. I wrote to him. And because I'd spoken to him previously or written to him previously, but I thought here's a chance now with the story coming out. I wrote to him and got a lovely letter back, which I've got framed at home, saying, "Dear Ken, thank you for your letter and thank you for your request, but seeing the fact that the story is not totally accurate because it's got to be made as a telly movie. It's got to be entertaining." All the facts weren't adhered to. I don't want to be seen to endorsing something that's not truly factual. He said, so I hope this doesn't disappoint you, but I must decline the interview.
Give us a quick snapshot of Donald Bradman. Because he is that sort of, he's an enigma. We don't see too much of him over the journey.
No, I can recall playing my first Sheffield Shield game when Sir Donald Bradman was chairman of selectors, and I walked into the room and Les Favell was captain, who I absolutely loved as a man and a human being. He was wonderful to me. And I walked into the room and sat over there where my locker was and looked up, and Les went that to me. And I went over and sat alongside him. He shook my hand and said, good luck. He said a couple of things. He said, keep your ears and your eyes open, but above all, keep this shut.
Yes,
he said, and I don't want to be waving my arms around the field, attracting your attention. And he said, the third thing is, when Sir Donald Bradman walks in, you don't speak to Sir Donald Bradman, unless he speaks to you.
Oh, okay.
And he walked in every morning at 10:15, had black tea and Jats biscuits and cheese.
Yep.
And he'd go and talk to Les Favell, he'd talk to Nodder Dans, he'd talk to Barry Jarman. But
Didn't talk to you.
no, I hardly spoke a word to him.
Yeah.
But there's a big aura about him, obviously.
sure.
There is an aura about him. There's also an aura about a fellow called Ian Chappell. Now, you've seen both.
Sure, he was tough.
Which was the better captain?
Ian Chappell, great captain. No, I'll rephrase that. Ian Chappell, a very, very good captain. Les Favell, a great captain. He is the best captain I've played under. I played under Les, I played under Ian, and I played under Greg. I was lucky enough to play under the three of them, but Les Favell, by a long way, was the best captain. In fact, he set a pattern. It was Les Favell. He handed the baton down to Ian Chappell. He in turn handed it down to David Hooks.
Wow.
David Hooks down to Buff Lehman. And so the pattern went on of playing bright, entertaining cricket. In fact, Les Favell, as captain, if we won the toss and we're batting first, he'd open the batting, he'd walk out and he'd say, and this is how he'd speak, "Righto, you guys, there's 5,000 fans out here today. If you get bogged down, you bloody get out." And that was his philosophy. Yeah. And, we won 3 Sheffield Shields under Les Favell. 3 Sheffield Shields, 3 of them.
2006, you're walking down the beach with your best friend Dennis Brown,
Yes.
and Dennis has taken a lot of phone calls.
Don't bring this back to me,
No,
please,
no, DB is the one I want to get some clarity on. He's taking a lot of phone calls on why did he revive you?
What happened? He just
Well, I'd had this pain in my chest for weeks and weeks, and anyway, I went to the doctor and he said, "No, look, you're fine, did test, bang, bang, bang." So I'm on this walk the week after the test down to Henley Beach, and I said to DB, "I've got this bloody pain in my chest again." He said, "You want to go home?" I said, "No, we'll keep going." So I got down where there's a walkway, there's some rocks there, then the beach is there. And next thing I know, woof,
that was it.
I'm gone. Next thing I know, I'm come to laying on the beach, and I've got DB punching the crap out of me. And I said, "What are you doing?" He said, your eyes have rolled, you've fainted, you've collapsed, you're not well. I said, "I'm fine, stop doing that, DB, stop doing it." He said, "You're unconscious." I said, "Did you give me mouth to mouth?"
And did he?
And thankfully he said no.
Oh, God.
Had he said yes, I reckon I would have gone back into unconsciousness.
Yeah, that's
All right,
right.
a couple of quick ones, mate, because we've got to go. 70s and 80s.
Yep.
Best 5 footballers you've seen through the 70s and 80s.
Oh, without doubt, best 5. Gee, that's Barry Robins stands above it. Russell Ebert would be certainly up there. Neil Curley's up there, definitely.
All right, 2000, who's the best footballer at the moment, currently?
What, in AFL footy?
Yep.
Patrick Dangerfield.
Wow, he's good. Hey, listen, I know we're wrapping up. We're going to go to a break. Why don't we do this on the run? Why don't we throw to a break, 1 sec, but then come back, have a quick chat with KG, and we can play the second part of this the following week. Why don't we just do that on the run? Because there's a few questions I want to ask you.
All right,
Hang
I want
on,
to
hang
stay
on.
with us. We'll take a break.
Yeah.
KG,
Hang on.
under the hammer when we come back.